Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Big Frogs 4x4. It's been about 10,000 miles, just over 10,000 miles since I installed the oil catch can on the Chevy Colorado with the Duramax engine. And we're gonna drain it and scale it and see how much it weighs and how much oil it drained out over 10,000 miles. As you can see, I mounted my oil catch can that I got from American Diesel Power up here at the front. I modified their bracket so it's easy for me to reach up here by the air cleaner. We'll just unscrew that. That's pretty nasty. Looks like a lot of sludge and stuff in there. So let's get this camera back a little bit and we're going to pour it in the scale and into a clear container so we can see what it all looks like, how much it weighs. Got some paper towels here ready. Got the scale zeroed out to 0 ounces. That is quite disgusting. Quite a bit of sludge. It's been really cold here, so I'm thinking this oil really started to thicken up over the cold. Quite a bit of oil and sludge in the bottom of the container as well. We'll have to get a scraper and scrape that out. But so far we're up to 2.2 ounces already. I would definitely recommend changing this before 10,000 miles. But I wanted to go to see how long you could go before you should empty it. And I would say definitely before 10,000 miles. You might even want to do it at 5,000 miles. Depends on how often you change the oil. This is due now for an oil change. There we're at 2.65 ounces. Or 0.166 pounds. Or 75 grams. Now make sure when you do this, make sure that you wipe this all out with a paper towel. Make sure your bowl is completely clean before you put it back on. That's quite disgusting. Now I'm going to wipe off down here. I'll show you anything it looks like down here. All right, we'll get down here and try to get you to look at the bottom. Hopefully you can see it okay there. I hope the camera is focusing here. You can see some of the holes look like they're clogged with some sludge, but I'm pretty sure that's because it's been so cold and I didn't change it often enough. I didn't empty this bowl often enough, so then it starts to build up in the bowl. So make sure that you empty this sooner. I'd say minimum 5,000 miles. The colder it gets, maybe even more often. Because the colder it gets out, the more that oil is going to want to thicken up and turn into a sludge and clog this all up. I'm going to take some paper towels and wipe all this down. It's definitely obvious that this oil catch can has been doing its job. There's actually, I noticed some water moisture vapor in here as well. That it's keeping from being sucked over into the intake as well. Because you notice, this towel is a lot of moisture. It's wet. It's not all oil, it's wet. So there's a lot of moisture and water that's been gathering up in there as well. So it's been catching and then keeping it, preventing it from going over into the engine. All right, for the final weigh-in, you can see that it weighs 3.1 ounces and 0.194 pounds and 88 grams of oil cleaned out of that oil catch can. All of this would have gone into your intake. all sucked into your intake of your engine. Now, yes, I am aware that this is to the extreme. I do not recommend anyone waiting 10,000 miles before changing this. So leave in the comments below. I know some people are going to say, well, that was stupid. Well, you should never run that long. I did that just so I could show what 10,000 miles would do to your oil catch can and how full it would be. That is way too much oil. Change it a lot sooner. I'd say minimum 5,000 miles. I don't know how often you change your oil. If you change it every 5,000 miles, obviously do this at the same time. But do not go 10,000 miles on your oil catch can. Also, as a reminder, if you live in cold climates, you may have to do this more often. You also may have problems with it sludging up. The oil in the tube may get cold, sludge up, and clog it. So make sure you check that often. If you're not getting anything in your oil catch can, make sure you check your tubes that go to your can and make sure they are clear. You don't want any oil and sludge building up in there and then building up any kind of blockage inside your tubes. If you do get some blockage, you'll probably have to take both ends of the hose off, blow it out with some air, and then put them back on. As always, thanks for watching Big Frogs 4x4. Like, subscribe, hit that bell if you want notified of every video when they come out, and bottoms up.